I'd like to call this meeting of the Clay County Commission to order. We will begin with our invocation. If everyone would please stand. Let us be guided tonight by a spirit of cooperation and goodwill, especially during this season. May we look to God for guidance in all we do and remember that He is the one we need to be following. With that, thank you very much. Amen. If you join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Commissioner, Commissioner Nolte?
Here.
Commissioner Withington?
Here.
Commissioner Lawson?
Here.
Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here. That brings us to approval of the agenda. Is there a motion related to the agenda? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion's been made for the approval of this evening's agenda. Are there any comments or questions or discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
That brings us to our public comments part of the agenda. Are there any members of the public who would care to comment on any items not on this evening's agenda? Seeing none. That brings us to our consent agenda. Administrator?
The consent agenda allows the Commission to act upon items considered to be routine and approved in one motion. These may include items that have been reviewed by the Commission in a prior session. There will be no separate discussion unless a Commissioner requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. There are 2 items on this evening's consent agenda. First item is approval of Commission meeting minutes from November 16th and November 29th, and Resolution 2023-369, approving a cooperative agreement between Clay County, Missouri Planning and Zoning Department and the Village of Oakwood, Missouri for plan review and construction inspection services.
Is there a motion related to this evening's consent agenda? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Motion's been made for the approval of the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next is our regular agenda. First item on this evening's regular agenda is 2023-368. Administrator.
Resolution 2023-368 is the consideration of approving the Clay County Collector's Report and recommendations of tax sale surplus of certain parcels. And our collector, Barbara O'Reilly, is here to provide information to the Commission.
Please proceed.
Barbara O'Reilly, Collector. Thank you for your time this evening. I bring to you Resolution 2023-368. It's a report and recommendation for the 2022 tax sale surplus to be distributed by the treasurer. I have any comments or any questions?
Questions or comments? Seeing none. Are there any comments from the public? Seeing none. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve tonight. Move to approve 2023-368.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2023-368. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next on our agenda is 2023-367. Administrator.
Resolution 2023-367 is approving the reappropriation of 2023 capital project funds from the Administration Building North Door Replacement Project to the Children's Justice Center Roof Replacement Project. And Deputy County Administrator Coons is here to provide information.
Please proceed.
Good evening. Donna Kuntz, Deputy County Administrator. So I have the good news followed by the bad news story. So we completed our North Administration door replacement. That project was budgeted for $100,000 based upon when we first looked at this in 2022, that the entire frame, the transcom above, and the decorative metal piece would all have to be removed and pulled out. When we got to this project this year, our vendor found a way to separate the upper decorative part and just replace the doors, which did not have to be a custom build job. So our project had a huge savings. So the project only cost us like $21,502 for the door replacement, which gave us a savings of $78,497.97. That was the good news. The bad news is we went to our Children's Justice roof replacement project. We sent that out to bid. We had 5 bidders come in and bid, and the prices came back much higher than what we had originally got our proposed estimate for. And the reason is when our contractor that helps us write all the bid specs, he looked at the worst parts of the roof where the insulation was wet and replaced capping in that area. But when the roof vendors came out to bid it, that same cap that runs around the part where it was really wet is around the entire building. And there's a parapet wall, which is slightly higher than a normal one. So we need to run our sheet metal up a little higher, and we need to put the new coping cap on the entire roof, not just the area where we had all the wet insulation. If we do the full, add this additional money, we get a 30-year warranty for the entire roof. If we don't add the additional metal and put the coping cap all over the entire roof, it is considered a restoration, and we get a 10-year warranty. So I was asking if we could take the savings from the North project door, which is in my capital project, and allocate that savings of $78,497 and move that for the additional funding for the Children's Justice roof project.
Okay. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. This makes sense to me, but I should ask, when you say the bidders came, or the bidders suggested it's got to be the whole roof.
We had 5 and they all came in.
So 5, okay, that's.
We had 5 that did it.
And so consistently across that, they're all saying,
Yes,
got it, okay. Thank
yes,
you.
all 5 of them.
Gotcha.
And
Thank
by adding this additional money, it is taking the lowest bid of the 5, because some of them were even higher.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments or further discussion? Commissioner Wagner.
Move to approve 2023-367.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2023-367. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion.
Last item on our regular agenda is 2023-370. Administrator.
Resolution 2023-370 is consideration of approving the Clay County State legislative priorities for 2024. This item was a discussion item by the commission about a month ago. A lot of great discussion. There were some items that were requested to be added to the legislative priorities, specifically in the transportation area. So there are 6 items that are identified on the legislative priority. The first item is Senate Bill 190, asking for some clarification with regard to that new legislation. Also, some requests for clarification in the state statute regarding the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority appointments coming from Clay County commissioners. Also under transportation, we have Highway 92, Highway 291, and Interstate 3529 project. We've also asked for consideration for some clarification and expansion on the commission's abilities for addressing appeals on penalty and interest on property tax. We've also asked for some clarification with regard to a marijuana sales tax with counties and how it relates to municipalities. And the final item is consideration of expanding eligibility for the creation of a Clay County Sports Complex Authority. And those are the items that are included in the legislative, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or make any changes that the commission would desire.
Maybe one way for us, if everybody was okay with this, is just to go ahead and take these one by one and hit each one. Obviously, if someone has something to say on another one, that's not a problem, just as a way to kind of work through it. So beginning with Senate Bill 190, Commissioner Withington?
I don't have anything for 190. I have stuff for the others.
Okay, no, if no one else has anything for 190, then which one would you like to address, Commissioner?
So let's look here. Highway 92. When I had asked for Highway 291 to be put on there, this says request funding for expansion of 291 to a 4-lane road. That was part of it, but safety improvements also from, for this stretch up here in Liberty where there's all those accidents. Yeah. So the safety improvements, and then it's when you get to, oh crap, what's that road? 104th, that's when it turns into 2 lanes. Flintlock. Yeah, so that's when it turns into 2 lanes. So 4 lanes all the way over to 169. And then also,
Commissioner, could we go ahead and get consensus to have that change, and then you can address your next point?
okay.
Is there consensus to alter the document along those lines? Very well. There is consensus. Yes,
I'm sorry, just for
Administrator.
clarification, on the safety component of it, Commissioner Whittington, are you basically saying from 152 going north and whatever direction that is,
Well,
northeast?
so from Kansas all the way up to
Okay.
35, there's like no street lights, and that's where all those wrecks are happening.
Okay, thank you.
Please proceed, Commissioner.
So under Clay County Sports Authority, I just noticed a typo. It says chart/constitutional. And that's what I was looking for. It wasn't necessarily a Clay County specific sports authority. It was updating state law to allow charter/constitutional. So that's, since first class are the only ones eligible. So I just noticed that typo and I thought I'd point that out.
Okay. So with that typographical correction, is there any further discussion from your end? Very well. Does anyone else have any input that they would like to make on these issues? Commissioner Carpenter.
Thank you. Just generally speaking, just want to thank County Administrator and the discussion we had on these. I think this document reflects really well the discussion that we had, and would be proud to make it our county's legislative priority. So thanks to everybody for contributing.
Further discussion or comment?
If I could, if it is approved, then my thought process would be to generate a letter that would then go to all of the representatives and senators from Clay County, that it would be a group letter and have all the commissions sign it, and then include this prioritization list as part of that, and then make that available, obviously, to commissioners as you engage conversations with our state legislators.
Might I also suggest if you could forward each of us a PDF copy of it, that way if we're talking to someone who is not in our, necessarily a Clay County legislator, but that we have some ability to push this agenda, that might be an easier way to disseminate this document.
Absolutely. So we'll give you a hard copy and electronic copy.
Commissioner Wagner.
Just a quick question as far as the life after it's voted on. I'd be curious to know, since we are now engaged, I believe we are now engaged with the state's group of counties whose official name is currently escaping me. But
MEC.
there you, thank you.
MAC.
Macy.
Whatever you say, I'm going to believe it, so thank you.
I got something else to tell you.
I know, but we're very curious to know if we compare our list compared to theirs, and certainly they will not have everything we will have, but since we don't employ lobbyists down there, and they do, being able to just share that list with them and see if we can get a little mileage that way.
Happy to do that when we become a member in January of 2024.
That's just a very short time.
It is, I know. So we'll be happy to do that as part of our membership and start making those contacts with the organization. And also share with the commission what are their priorities,
Very
you know,
good.
as from the state perspective, statewide for counties.
Awesome, thank you.
Further discussion? I want to echo the comments of Commissioner Carpenter. He and I share experiences being in the legislative world at one time in our lives. And one of the things that I want to point out is this is a relatively brief document. There have been times when we've gotten documents that have lots of pages, lots of issues. I think this is constructed in a way that is very user-friendly for our legislators, that they can get a hold of, and it is as good a number of pieces and as good enough amount of detail as I've seen. So we've both seen any number of these kinds of legislative priorities. The other thing is I'm glad to see that we are getting back into that. There was a period of time when we were not presenting the priorities of the county in this way, and I think it puts us back on a very constructive track, and I certainly appreciate the work of everybody involved to put this document together in such a professional manner. With that, is there a motion? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve 2023-370.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2023, I'm sorry, I put my pen over it, 2023-370. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner,
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
That concludes our regular agenda for this evening. Next on our agenda is the county administrator comments. Administrator?
Just a couple of comments. Again, we'd like to remind the public that our survey is live out on the website. We encourage everyone to go out and complete that survey as part of our comprehensive plan update. And that website is, thank you, is up on the screen. So www.claycountycompass.com. We're going to keep it open until probably the end of January. And we know holidays, everybody gets busy. So we certainly hope people go out and take a few minutes to do that. I think our last count is we're over 200 surveys, and so we certainly want to give everyone, encourage everyone to participate in that survey. And then the other item is just to announce that the Commission's next budget workshop will be next Wednesday, the 13th, here at 10 o'clock in the morning here in the chambers. And then the next regular business session of the Commission will be next Thursday, the 14th at 6 p.m.
Thank you. That brings us to Commissioner comments. Commissioner Carpenter, if you'd like to start.
No comments, thank you.
Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Withington. I see you had props, so I kind of assumed you had a comment. Oh, I'm sorry.
So this past weekend, the Kearney Bulldogs and the Liberty North Eagles won their state championships. Class 6, it was their first, Liberty North's first state championship, and Kearney's 5th since in like the last 10 years or something like that. So congratulations to them. We've invited both teams to our commission meetings. Liberty North will be here next week. Still waiting to hear back from Kearney so we can give them a resolution. So congratulations to both of them.
Commissioner Lawson. Commissioner Wagner. Okay. First off, I want to say thank you to all involved. This was probably one of the shorter meetings we've had. Certainly, I think everybody appreciates that. The other thing that I want to point out is my invocation was somewhat off the cuff, and so I didn't prepare it as well as I'd hoped. One of the things that I would want to have included in that was the commemoration of today being December 7th. This commemorates a date when this country went from one crisis, the Great Depression, into another extremely difficult situation, that being the Second World War. A lot is made of and rightly so, of those those Americans who lived during that time, particularly those who participated in the military actions that resulted from Pearl Harbor. They are often referred to as the greatest generation, and it is, in my mind, that is pretty indisputable. So certainly, as we go through the rest of this day, keep in mind the sacrifices made on that day and those subsequent sacrifices, particularly by our men and women in uniform, up to this current day. They are out there and they are putting everything on the line for us and our liberties. So, please bear them in your prayers and thoughts. With that, we have, next on our agenda is executive session. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to go into executive session pursuant to RSMO 610.021, sub 12 for contractual reasons and to adjourn therefrom.
Motion has been made to go into executive session for Missouri Statute 610021, parentheses 12, contractual, and to adjourn therefrom. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
With that, we will go into executive session and adjourn therefrom. Thank you.